So there's been a lot of drama going on behind the scenes, whether it's over at Marvel Studios or Lucasfilm, both of which are associated with the Walt Disney Company. But it's not just limited to that, it's also, of course, all because of Bob Iger's cost containment plan, his ongoing agenda, his overall ideology spilling into all these different projects, these brands, these properties, if you will. And we've seen this time and time again, really happening over the course of the past several years, ever since, Disney either bought out Lucasfilm or really started doubling down on their agenda with Marvel Studios. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So, Deadpool and Wolverine, alright? This is a subject that I think really has a lot of things going on with it because there's a lot of alterations and revisions being applied to the digital release of this film. A lot of things going on with what happened between Ryan Reynolds and several others behind closed doors over at the Disney Company. And a lot of this has to do with Joy Behar in this specific scenario regarding, of course, her overall part in Deadpool and Wolverine. We talked about this a little bit a couple of months ago regarding her overall role in the film. We have a lot more to talk about that. Now, what's interesting about this has a lot more to do with Ryan Reynolds' stance against those at the Disney Company and specifically Joy Behar. So let's go into this. Now, what's interesting about Ryan Reynolds is that this is a guy, this is an actor that's not afraid to do things his way or to speak up, to speak his mind against the Disney executives, right? The big wigs, the suits, if you will. However, with, of course, given that the Disney executives and Bob Iger right now are scrambling on how to apply a major revision to their roadmap of films and television programs after numerous failures, one major development going on right now has to do with the after effect of both Iger's cost containment plan and their deliberate agenda that shows no sign of stopping. Now, a crucial update now has to do with both Ryan Reynolds and Joy Behar after some revisions were applied to the Deadpool and Wolverine drama going on behind the scenes. It turns out that Ryan recently convinced Disney, since he had a change of heart regarding the Joy Behar scene in Deadpool and Wolverine, that he no longer wants Behar scenes to be released for the Blu-ray edition of the film on disc or streaming. Now, Behar was paid an estimated $2 million for her 2 cameos in the film, in which both Deadpool and Wolverine mock the talk show host in a bar while drinking whiskey, and also on the set of The View in the real-world universe in the film that was going to appear in the second act of the film. And though Ryan really wanted to poke fun at Joy Behar, his stand on these scenes releasing on the Blu-ray have changed after Behar and the Disney executives ended up using those scenes as a marketing tool, as a way to promote The View, if you will, as a TV show, using the popularity of Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, after multiple negotiations took place, Reynolds successfully blocked the Joy Behar scenes from ever appearing on both disc and/or streaming, which is set to drop, by the way, later this year. Now, Behar, however, was having a serious meltdown over her scenes getting locked up in a vault from Deadpool and Wolverine. Reportedly, Behar was conflicted with those scenes, however, releasing at first, since characters like Deadpool and Wolverine were poking fun at her, but not just her, but the entire overall table of The View. However, she also saw this as a way to promote her show and figured it would boost ratings. Already, Behar had a series of arguments after Bob Iger and Kevin Feige made that ultimate decision to never release those scenes to the public, which may disappoint some Marvel fans out there that wanted to see the said scenes mocking the show and Behar. Now, Behar was still paid, like I said before, the roughly $2 million for the scenes, the cameos, that she filmed, however, as it was built into her contract for the 2024 deal. In addition to all of this, Behar was also complaining about Reynolds being able to call the shots on what scenes would or would not appear on the Deadpool and Wolverine digital release. Reynolds' recent change of heart in his decision also comes well after Behar complained about Deadpool and Wolverine to the general public on The View. So I don't know if you guys recall, we talked about this. Behar had a very big problem with Deadpool and Wolverine. She was deeply offended by how, quote-unquote, violent it was, how many times they dropped the F-bomb in the film. She had a major problem with that. I mean, she went on and on about how there's too many F-words in this film, and that movies like this should not exist under Disney, where she really doesn't realize, and little does she know, that this was a rated R movie. And this is how the Deadpool character works. This is how he operates. You know, this is how he is. And it's an accurate representation of the character on film. Of course he's going to drop F-bombs. Of course it's going to be a violent movie. I mean, unless you're living under a rock, I don't see how anyone could not understand that. But here you have Joy Behar, who was conflicted in the very beginning about these scenes, poking fun at her, now wanting them to come back on the Blu-ray edition, and is deeply offended over the fact that Ryan Reynolds really had a major problem with her after she called out Deadpool and Wolverine. Well, he snapped back and said, yeah, your scenes are no longer going to be a part of the digital release, so good on him on that front. However, moving on, Behar is desperately trying to get Disney to release those scenes, since The View had a recent ratings drop for the last quarter of 2024. Ryan Reynolds is also still refusing to do an interview with Joy Behar about his future with Marvel and his career with Disney, as the exclusive interview is being discussed between the two. However, after recent arguments took place about the scene drama, Reynolds refused to take part in any of the interviews with Joy Behar on the set of The View, and wanted nothing to do with that show. This is the latest failure via the Walt Disney Company and ABC in regards to Joy Behar. And you know what, mind you, it's going to be a very interesting week for ABC to say the least, but we know that Joy Behar is by far the most vile person out there on television. I will say that. Now, look, I don't believe that she belongs on live television. I don't even know why The View is still going in 2024. Who even watches it is beyond me. Alright, no sane person watches The View as far as I'm concerned. But when you're looking at Deadpool and Wolverine, I think that these scenes honestly would have been epic. They would have been hilarious. But I think it's also a very good call by Ryan Reynolds to really stand his ground and really take, a look back at, Joy Behar and say, if you're going to offend my film, then your scenes are not going to be in this movie. That makes a lot of sense. And given that Disney wanted to spin those scenes as a marketing tool to promote The View, was also something that really kind of repulsed Ryan Reynolds. So that's a really good move on his front, the fact that he was able to realize that behind the scenes, as they are trying to create this Blu-ray edition of the film that's going to have all these extra features. So we talked about this before. He was betrayed in several different ways by Disney. There were conversations about creating an extended edition of Deadpool and Wolverine, even though Shawn Levy completely just, debunked that. But that was not the case. It actually ended up being that Disney told Shawn Levy to make it like that wasn't happening, but it was behind the scenes. The extended edition, no longer moving forward, really kind of upset Ryan Reynolds because it was going to have a lot of the Henry Cavill moments in there, a lot of the other war scenes dedicated to Wolverine, etc. But overall, guys, I would like to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.